My name is Roberto, and my story is deeply rooted in these mountains, a small village in Campania that seems suspended in time. Here, where the sky unfolds into a starry ocean, solitude becomes a sweet companion, and nature a welcoming mother. My life revolves around pedals. 10 kilometers a day, to work and then back home. A routine I repeat with a smile, with the same bicycle that everyone knows. A simple existence, perhaps too simple. Until that point, near the old bridge, where every evening my reality shatters. The chain of my bicycle comes loose, and I with it, in a fall that feels like more than a mere coincidence. It can't be, I tell myself every evening when I feel the metal give way beneath me. Not again. But the chain lies less than my attempt to deny the evidence. It's a ritual now, a symphony of steel and asphalt that plays the prelude to a mystery larger than myself. Day after day, the same dynamics, the same fall. At the bar, they joke about my curse. My closest friends repeat to me, "Have you perhaps angered some saint, my friend?" The laughter is warm, but their eyes can't hide a slight concern. "Perhaps," I reply, "but my mind is elsewhere, tangled in the invisible threads of this distorted reality." Lucia, behind the counter, offers me a coffee, a knowing smile. "You should take it less seriously," she repeats, but in her words, there's an unspoken question that flutters like a leaf in the wind. Every evening, as I approach that accursed point, my heart pounds in my chest. Not today, I silently pray, but it's a futile hope. I approach, slow down, wait, and it happens. The chain jumps, and I fall. A clock of fate that marks a time that doesn't belong to me. What if it's not the bicycle? I wonder as the night wraps me in its cloak. What if it's the bridge? Or maybe there's something else? The inner voice cuts off. I don't want to think of the alternative. But the truth is there, a lurking shadow, ready to jump out of the darkness. That October evening, twilight painted the sky in shades of orange and violet, a masterpiece that only nature can provide. I wanted to lose myself in that beauty, but the thought of the bridge clenched my stomach in an icy grip. "You won't fall tonight," I encouraged myself, the inner voice trembling more than my hands. Yet, as I approached, reality slipped through my fingers like the chain from the wheel. There, at the peak of my descent toward the cold, hard floor, I saw a figure. A man, elegant as an actor from another era, seated on the edge of the bridge, facing away from me. His white suit was a stark contrast to the encroaching darkness. "Hey," I stammered, but my voice died in my throat. I got up, shaken, and approached with uncertain steps, as if I feared the ground might vanish beneath me. "Sir, can I help you?" No response. Only the sound of the river below, a constant lament that seemed to be waiting for something, or someone. My heart beat so loudly I could have counted its beats. With a courage I didn't know I possessed, I touched his shoulder. And in an instant, like snow in the sun, the man vanished, leaving me to question the empty air. That night, in bed, eyes wide open in the darkness, I saw him again. It wasn't a dream, it was a vivid nightmare, the man in white, staring at me with eyes devoid of humanity, speaking to me with a voice devoid of warmth. He promised terror, he promised death. Why? I whispered to the ceiling, why me? But the answer was a void that sucked me in, a black hole in the fabric of my existence. The days became a countdown to the night, each tick of the clock a hammer smashing my serenity. Work, friends, smiles, everything seemed to slip away, making way for an obsession that grew, fueled by all too real nightmares. The man in white awaited me every night, an uninvited guest in my dreams. He didn't run, he didn't scream, he was there, motionless, with those bottomless eyes that pierced my soul. You will die, he whispered to me, and his voice was a serpent coiling around my heart. I dared not ride the bicycle anymore. The car became my new refuge, a metal shell I hoped would protect me. But as I sped past the bridge, a flash of white in my rearview mirrors made me swerve. It was him. Always him. A fleeting apparition that mocked my fear. I couldn't talk about it. Who would believe me? They've driven Roberto mad, they would think. And maybe they were right. Maybe I was going mad. Because he was there, always one step behind me, a presence that suffocated me with its lack of life. But the greatest terror came one evening when, looking in the rearview mirror, I saw him seated in the back seat. Eyes locked on mine, a silent laughter that froze my blood. I swerved, but there was no one there. Only the echo of a laughter that had never been uttered. What if it's true? What if I'm not crazy? I repeated to myself every day. The question gnawed at my brain like a worm. I had to know. I had to find the truth before my mind shattered like a reflection in the water when a stone is thrown in. So, one evening, after another appearance, after another suffocating nightmare, I decided to open up to my mother. I sat beside her, the air thick with unspoken words. Mom, I need to know, I implored. Is there something about Dad's past that you've never told me? She shook her head, her face a stone wall. There's nothing to know, she replied firmly, but her eyes betrayed the lie. I knew it, there was more, much more. And she wouldn't talk. The answer wouldn't come from her, so I began to investigate. I talked to the village elders, to anyone with a long memory, searching for a clue, a fragment of truth. It was old Michelle, the librarian, who revealed what I was looking for. You shouldn't dig into other people's secrets, he said, but still handed me an old newspaper article. The article talked about a fatal accident many years ago, right near the bridge. The culprit had fled, leaving behind only questions. The victim's name was there, clear as day, and his photo froze my blood. It was him, the man in white, the apparition that tormented me. When I showed the article to my mother, her defenses crumbled. With tear-filled eyes, she revealed the secret she had guarded for years. My father, on a starless night, had hit a man, right there, near the bridge. And that man, the elegant specter of the bridge, was the face of that debt, the shadow of a mistake buried in time. A mistake that now stared me in the eyes, waiting for an answer I didn't have. So, I made a decision that surprised even me with my own courage. and I returned to the bridge that same evening. The dying daylight clashed with the long shadows of the evening, painting the world in a chiaroscuro of omens. I stopped where it had all begun, my heart pounding as if it beat to an old, sad melody. He was there, the man in white, a living statue staring into the abyss below. I approached slowly, each step an echo in eternity. "I'm here for my father," I declared, my voice broken by involuntary trembling, "for what he did." He turned around, and for the first time, our gazes met. His eyes were wells of pain and resentment, a universe of silence screaming for revenge. "I can't change the past," I continued, "but I can acknowledge its weight. I can try to bear the burden." He didn't speak, but a cold and deep laughter rose in the air, a sound that seemed to come from another era, another world. And then, in the blink of an eye, he vanished, leaving me alone with the wind that now whispered farewell. That laughter, that malevolent laughter that had shattered the twilight silence, followed me home. It wasn't over, I realized as the night closed in on me, a dark veil woven of invisible gazes. In my dreams, the man in white awaited me, his smirk a harbinger of death. "You can't repay the debt," the man's voice hissed in my dream. "There's no forgiveness for spilled blood." I woke up screaming, the chill of death clinging to my skin. I was a prisoner of a curse I hadn't chosen, an heir to a sin that wasn't mine. I couldn't escape anymore. The visions haunted me even in the daylight. The man in white appeared everywhere, an implacable phantom. Work, the bike, life, all lost in the vortex of madness. Friends, colleagues, they all looked at me with different eyes. Eyes that didn't see me but something else, something broken. My mother, the poor woman, couldn't bear to see me like this. "For your own good, Roberto," she cried, as the men in white took me away. The psychiatric clinic became my new world, a world of soft walls and whispered voices. And yet, even here, he found me, my eternal pursuer, the man in white, my punishment. Now, as doctors talk about hallucinations and trauma, I know the truth. There is no escape from the weight of the past, no fleeing from the shadows we've inherited. I, Roberto, son of a father I never knew, have become the keeper of a horror that can't be buried, of a story that can't find peace. And so, here I am, a soul trapped between the living and the dead, waiting for the end of my days, in the company of the only certainty I have. Horror is real, and you can never truly escape it. And to those who listen, who let these words flow through their minds, I leave you with a thought. My story is just one among many, a thread in a larger tapestry of horrors and mysteries that weave the fabric of our existence. Every story has its shadow, and every shadow hides a tale. Share your stories, your encounters with the incomprehensible. Let the voice of truth resound, for only in sharing can we find a thread of understanding, a flash of camaraderie in the darkness that surrounds us. If my story has touched you, if the echo of my tale has infiltrated your thoughts, subscribe to the channel, activate the notification bell, and become part of this community that gathers around the fire of storytelling to share their experiences on the fringes of reality. There are many more stories to tell, many more silences to break. Your support is the beacon that guides this journey through the dark. Don't forget, every shared story is a step toward the light, or perhaps a step deeper into the mystery. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here.